Everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Deborah Leon, and today I'm going to discuss forward head position, what it is and why it matters. So forward head position is something that used to happen mostly for older people as we age, older people like me at this point. Anyway, as we age, we tend to maybe round, right? If we're in a comfy chair, especially, and believe me, I love a comfy chair just as much as anyone, but they do have some too much comfy chair sitting might not be ideal. So if we're in a comfy chair, we kind of sink into it, and then we bring our head forward to see the TV or whatever. Okay, so that can lead to forward head position. As we age, our eyesight might not be as great, so we tend to kind of look forward to see things better. And again, that brings the head forward. But I'm seeing it a lot more now as a yoga teacher, and even in myself, because I work during the day, I have an office job. And even for me, being in a computer all day has led to I'm having to work with forward head position myself. But I also see it a lot with younger people who are like on devices all day. They're looking down at their phone a lot, which causes the back of the neck to kind of stretch in a way that can lead to a forward head position. Or just being on the computer all day, right? So rounding the upper back and then looking at the screen. So it can lead to this forward head position. So that's what it is, and why does it matter? So forward head position matters quite a bit. For one, it causes strain, neck strain, so that can cause people to have like pain in the neck pain. And it can also cause like headaches and things like that. Another reason it matters is as we age especially, or for any reason, as our head comes forward, the cranial nerves run through a very narrow notch here, and that can get kind of cut off. And another reason why it matters, and I think this is probably one of the most important things, in my opinion, as we progress in life, is it can increase our risk for falls, which is not something we want, obviously. For healthy aging, we want to prevent that. So if our head's forward, we might just our balance is kind of off, and that can lead to falls. So that's why it matters. So I'm going to show you a couple things that you can do, couple of exercises, 2 exercises that can help you maybe eliminate it or alleviate it rather a little bit. Now I do want to say if you have a history of whiplash, if you have serious neck injury or neck pain, please, I'm not a doctor, I'm a yoga instructor, and I really want to stay in my wheelhouse and be honest. So you may benefit more by actually having a doctor, an orthopedist, a physical therapist, and a medical team that can look at you and your specific situation and help you in a more specific way, the one that's more helpful for you. But if you're not in that category, if you're okay, if you'd like to do these exercises, you're free to join me. So the first exercise is going to be exploring how the upper back plays a role. So again, if our upper back is rounded, our head is very often going to come forward. So to correct that, just take a moment to grow a little bit taller, and then draw the shoulder blades, your scapula, draw your shoulder blades towards one another, and as you do that, feel your collarbones broaden in the front, the upper part of your chest broaden, and the front of your shoulders broaden. So those 2 actions work together. Shoulder blades draw towards one another, upper chest lifts and broadens, collarbones broad, shoulders broad. And you may notice as you do that a couple times, you may feel that actually begins to bring the head back. So that's step 1. That's a really helpful beginning. Now, when we do that, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another, broaden the collarbones, lift and broaden the upper chest, you may feel the lower ribs kind of puff out. It's kind of common. This gets kind of tight over time. So as you lift the front of the upper chest, at the same time, draw the lower ribs in and down a little bit. You'll feel your core engage. So those 2 actions work together. Scapula towards one another, collarbones broad, lower ribs draw in and down, or down and in. So that's the first exercise for the upper back to help the upper back. And the second one is going to require knowledge of of three landmarks, if you will. So the first one is called C7. C7, cervical spine 7, is the very first vertebrae. It's the last vertebrae when you count from the top to the bottom, but from the bottom up, it's the beginning of your cervical spine. So, or the cervical, the neck, okay, the spine and the neck. So if you do let your upper back round a little bit and bring your chin down, and then take your hand and just slide it down the very center of your neck where the bones are, you'll feel a little bump right about here. This is C7. So this is where your cervical spine, the vertebrae in your neck, begin. Now, keeping your hand on that little bit of a bump there, take a moment to again draw the shoulder blades towards one another, broaden the upper part of your chest, the collarbones broad, and see if you feel how that already maybe lessens that bump there a little bit. So that's the first landmark, C7. The second landmark is the base of the skull. So if you take your hands to the back of your skull, you'll feel as you run up the side of your neck to where you feel the bone of the skull begin. It's like a little ledge here. Okay, that's the base of the skull. And then if you work your hands, that's the landmark 2. So landmark 1, C7, landmark 2, base of the skull. The third landmark, if you take your hands now towards your center line, towards the center of the back of the skull, you feel a little bit of a soft spot right about here. Okay, so that's the third landmark. Okay, so for the second exercise, first we want to do the first and then build upon that. So first, we want to, again, broaden the collarbones, draw the shoulder blades towards one another, draw the lower ribs in and down, and then we're going to take our hand almost like a, I don't know what you want to call this, but you're going to kind of cup your hand and take it to the back of your neck and just gently massage it, working, kind of squeezing and working your hand up the neck to the base of the skull. And then maybe if you like, you can change hands, or you can just stay with the same one. And just squeeze and gently work your hand up. Just giving yourself a nice massage there. Softening the soft tissue. Okay, and then we're going to take the outer edge of our thumb to the base on both hands, outer edge of the thumbs to the base of the skull. See if you can feel that little ledge, and interlace your fingers behind your head. So again, draw your shoulder blades towards one another, broaden the collarbones, maybe feel the head come back a little bit. Draw the lower ribs in and down. Now with the hands, you're going to gently lift the skull up and slightly back. So you're gently pulling up and back. If this is causing you pain, please stop. It should not be uncomfortable. It should feel good. Looking straight ahead. So if you're pushing too hard with your hands and you're looking down, don't push so hard with the hands. It's moderate. You don't want to be feeling like you're forcing the neck and battling your hands. It's more like a cradle and a support and lift. And then again, bring your awareness to your shoulder blades, draw them towards one another, and let that action draw your elbows out to the sides. Only to the point that feels good for you. Breathe. Now try to maintain this alignment in your spine and neck as you gently release the hands and bring them up to like a diamond shape. And breathe. And when you bring your arms up, try not to let your shoulders draw up. Let the inner border of your scapula towards the spine, the middle of your shoulder blade, descend down. The outer portion of the scapula is actually going to kind of rotate out and up. And then releasing. So I hope that that was helpful to you. As a yoga teacher, I really think I'm keeping my eye on this. And I'm hoping that my fellow yoga teachers out there as a community, I hope that we're really, I think we are in many cases, becoming more aware of how important this is. So forward head position, if that's the case for somebody, doing certain things might not even be ideal. So if we're doing neck stretches, right, side to side, but we have a forward head position when we do it, might actually be doing more harm than good. So understanding forward head position and working with it, I think, is really, really important for us as we move forward, because I think for many of us, being that we are more and more on our devices for good reasons, not to demonize them, but it's going to, I think, lead to a situation where many of us are having to contend with that. And I think it's wise to do so in order to maintain healthy aging and prevent falls in the future and neck pain. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or a question below. Thank you. Have a great day. Namaste.